time for our Wealth Wednesday segment. More than a quarter of U.S. households meet the definition of one-person household. That's according to the U.S. Census Bureau. One, living alone and having sole responsibility over your household bills can be an advantage. There's no need to compromise on priorities.
Yet against the backdrop of rising inflation and interest rates, managing life's expenses on one income can come with some challenges. Here again for our Wealth Wednesday segment is Will Rogers to talk to us about key considerations for folks living alone. Will, good to see you again.
Yeah, no, good to be here. And you know, economists call this the single tax, but you were sharing ahead of time a much better example than I thought of beforehand of just wanting to get a refrigerator. And if somebody else had been in the household, having that extra income might have been able to get a brand new refrigerator instead of something off of Facebook Marketplace. But you've got real risks. You know, what if you get sick and your work stops? What if you lose your benefits? There's some tough things when you're single and it's all on you. That's tough.
And we're saying the word single here, and it is tough, I'm sorry. We're saying the word single here, so let's hit that right there. What is single tax? What does that mean?
Again, the single tax is when all the responsibilities for the financial income of the household is on one person. So, you know, if you're in a situation where, even if you're married, if the other person cannot work, you're essentially stuck with that burden. But if somebody, you know, if you're on your own, you're having to do it all yourself. And most households will have somebody helping out. And that potential of losing all the income if you're laid off or injured, that's huge. That's a big risk. And then what if you lose your benefits and health insurance along with it? You know, often if you're married, okay, if you lose your job, then you can step onto your spouse's coverage. But if you're single, you don't have that safety net.
Okay, so let's talk about sharing expenses and if that's a good thing or a bad thing if you do have someone else.
And it's very appealing on its face. The refrigerator example, if you had somebody that could chip in and help out with it, okay, that's great. But what if the refrigerator breaks? Now who's responsible for the maintenance of it? Something that is new in my world that I picked up from my kids is they have roommate contracts. So if they're sharing expenses, be it heat, electricity, cleaning, what have you, they've got it in writing. And that's something that I really strongly advocate is have very clear communication, get things in writing as to who's going to agree to pay for what and what happens if somebody doesn't pay for something that they'd agreed to pay for.
Okay, so what if you're by yourself, you're on your own, what should you have as a fallback fund?
You're always going to want that rainy day fund, and this is something, you know, our viewers should not be surprised that I'm saying, oh, have some extra cash. Right. Normally, folks look at 3 to 6 months expenses as the appropriate fallback fund, but if you're single, you might want to look at boosting that up a good bit. Again, that extra cash, that extra reserves, if something happens and money can fix it, you don't have a problem.
Good to know. Okay. I feel
like,
hey, you're talking to me right now. You know, I just had some damage in my home right now, and guess what I'm having to pay? It's almost an emergency fund. Thank goodness for insurance, but, you know, there's always that deductible. So good thing that I set money aside for that. But again, with this single household, you really have to plan.
Right, there's the deductible, but then there's also the time to deal with the folks that are doing the work. So, you know, are you having to lose wages from all of the income because you're having to take time off from work to deal with the repair folks? Or is it somebody could work around their schedule? Or are you essentially having to work a second job to get the house fixed? And not outside employment, but just that extra time to keep up with it. So that's where I'm a big advocate of just setting aside some of your money every paycheck for what's going on in the future. The Roth IRA is a great place to put it because if you keep up with the paperwork, if you need to tap into your Roth IRA at 18 or 25 or 30 or 50, you can do the principal. If you keep up with the paperwork, you can touch the principal for anything, anytime. But if you don't need it, you've got that money working towards your retirement.
That's what you need. All right. And I mean, those are some of the priorities that you have for those long-term goals. Will, where can people go to get more information?
Always happy to share our wisdom on wealth. wrogers.info. Give us a holler at 706-312-2000. And if you got questions, I've really enjoyed interacting with the public since I've been on this. I've been amazed, you know, grocery stores and everything else, and I'm happy to share, happy to help out any way that I can.
He'll talk to you in the bread aisle. He doesn't care.
Yes.
He's always on. Will.
Well, yeah, we're talking about dough.
Well, you know where to
Wow,
find
I
Will
just-
now if you're in the grocery
boy,
store.
I walked right
Okay, if
into
you want to
that.
make bread, find Will Rogers in the bread aisle.
I don't need the groans from Mikkel over there because you wish you could have said that. You wish you would have come up with that.